walk into a room, do you automatically feel like you want to bring the fun? Maybe you can't help but notice the energy. Does it need to be lifted? You start imagining how to make the moment more memorable, more enjoyable. Maybe you can't help but think about the possibilities for what's going to happen next, or what could make this more enticing, or how to keep things interesting. I mean, your mind jumps to ideas and options and plans, sometimes not having even anything to do with the moment that you're in. You just want life to be amazing. Perhaps you also notice a little bit of resistance when things start to feel limiting, heavy, boring. Let me ask you this. Are you known as someone who is fun, energetic, optimistic? Do people look to you to bring energy, ideas, and a sense of possibility? If any of this sounds familiar, stay tuned and say hello to Enneagram 7. Welcome to Hello Enneagram, a summer series designed to help you know your number. If you've been confused about your type, if your Enneagram enthusiast second cousin has tried to tell you what you are, or if you've taken online tests but they don't seem to fit quite right, well, this series is designed to give you a simple and honest look at each Enneagram number and the core tenets that go beyond behavior-based typing to the heart of the motivation. So my goal here is to help give you the basics without overwhelming you. The Enneagram is meant to be taught and processed in community so that you can self-identify your number. So listen in, then jump to the comments and share what you're noticing in yourself or ask questions. My hope is that this helps you find your number. No test required and no Enneagram enthusiast BFF trying to assign one to you. All right, let's get going and I'll chat with you in the comment section. If you're watching this YouTube video or listening to the podcast, you're trying to learn more about the Enneagram 7, often called the Enthusiast. You may wonder if you are an Enneagram 7, or you may simply want to learn more about sevens. Either way, I'm really glad you're here, and I know you'll find this episode extremely helpful. As you listen, be sure that you share it with somebody else who wants to learn more about the fun, energetic, possibility focused Enneagram 7. So, you might be an Enneagram 7 if you're naturally optimistic and you look for the positive in situations. You enjoy new experiences, ideas, and opportunities. If you tend to think about what's next or about what could be possible, you might be an Enneagram 7 if you don't like feeling stuck, limited, or restricted. If you bring energy, enthusiasm, and creativity to everything that you do, and you also avoid discomfort or hard emotions by staying busy and distracted, you just might be an Enneagram 7. But here's one thing people don't always see. It's not that you're trying to be scattered or avoidant or immature. You're simply trying to stay and bring happiness in the world. So let's talk about what's going on underneath all of this. There are three centers of intelligence with every human being. We perceive, process, and respond to the world through thinking, feeling, and doing, also known as the head, the heart, and the gut. For an Enneagram 7, the strongest center of intelligence is the thinking or the head center, which means you process the world through ideas. You have a strong ability to see possibility and a desire to keep things really open and exciting. Now, the weakest center of intelligence for the Enneagram 7 is the feeling center. This does not mean that you don't have emotions. It simply means that the difficult or more painful emotions can feel hard to access. They feel a little claustrophobic and limiting. And so that can end up sounding like, what else could I do here instead of processing these hard emotions? How can I make it fun? How can I bring more joy and not sit in the discomfort? Over time, this leads to a lifestyle of avoiding discomfort, numbing out, and escapism. And it's not because you don't want to feel, but it's because you want to feel good. At your core, what really drives the Enneagram 7 is wanting to be happy and fulfilled, wanting to experience everything that life has to offer, desiring freedom and possibility, and really avoiding pain or limitation. Now, what this might look like in real life is planning your next big experience while still in the current one, or jumping into new ideas and opportunities because they excite you without counting the cost of of how busy you already are. It might be constantly trying to do more than you should be doing so you don't have to limit yourself by saying no, or potentially finding yourself shifting away from something that feels heavy, looking for something lighter. And again, not because you're scattered, but because those difficult emotions are very hard to access. The Enneagram is the most powerful tool I have found for personal and spiritual transformation. I applaud you for seeking to know yourself more deeply. In my work as a coach for midlife women, I find that one of the first steps to creating a fulfilling life is knowing and embracing who God created you to be. It would be my honor to walk alongside you on that path. So with that, I invite you to take the next step in working with me through either taking a class, maybe private coaching, or attending one of my retreats for midlife women. If any of those sound interesting to you and you want more information, just send me an email at hello@livingwellbyjen.com. So, at your best, sevens are joyful, energetic, and incredibly optimistic. They're great leaders, they're enthusiastic, they're creative, spontaneous, fun loving. They're excellent at planning and getting a group of people going in the same direction. Now, people love being around an Enneagram 7, and those are the above the line qualities. But under pressure, as a 7, it's easier to fall below that line. This is when the need to avoid discomfort gets stronger. You notice your restlessness and your sense of feeling stuck getting stronger. You may become a little scattered or distracted, maybe too impulsive, or buying or committing to things in excess. You might be avoiding difficult emotions. Now, people might say that you're being flaky or unrealistic, but internally, it just simply feels like I don't want to feel stuck or limited. I want everything life has to offer. Now, if we look at the Enneagram drawing, you'll notice that there are two lines connected to your number. One line shows you where the number moves in times of stress, and the other line shows you where the number goes when that person is feeling very secure in themselves and their environment. And so for the Enneagram 7, when life gets very stressful, sevens will find themselves moving toward the energy and the behavior of a type 1. Now, it's important to note that one, you don't become your stress number or your secure number, but the energy and the behavior will look and feel like that stress or secure number. So a 7 in stress might become more rigid, critical, and easily frustrated. Their desire for freedom can feel blocked, and then it turns into irritation and anger. A 7 also wants to be on the lookout for feelings like, I need to control this, and why is everyone else doing it the wrong way? That's your stress number talking. But now let's talk about the other line. When sevens are feeling grounded and secure, they move toward the energy of a type 5, which means they can slow down and become more focused and present. They can go deeper instead of jumping to the next thing so quickly. They feel content with less stimulation and more stillness. They're able to spend time alone and be at peace. Sevens tell me they often feel surprisingly peaceful when they just embrace their human limits. So, if you're wondering if you might be an Enneagram 7, ask yourself, do I naturally look for options and possibilities? And what is next? Do I struggle with feeling stuck, limited, or restricted? Do I tend to stay busy or distracted to avoid discomfort and hard emotions? Do I feel a strong pull towards fun and freedom and new experiences? If what we've talked about today resonates with you and you're thinking, I just might be an Enneagram 7, Well, don't rush to label yourself just yet. Listen to a few more types. Pay attention to what motivates you, what's beneath the surface of your behavior. And then, for more help knowing your number, I have a free mini course and it's called Hello Enneagram. It's in the show notes. And in that course, it's going to include detailed descriptions about each number, worksheets, and interviews with people of each type. People tell me when hearing real people talk about what it feels like to be in their number that it's tremendously helpful when discovering their own. So that's a wrap on Enneagram 7. Let me know in the comment section. Go there right now and just tell me what resonated with you and what questions do you have. I'd love to connect with you there. Before we go, I just want to say thank you for being here. I know how valuable your time is, and I don't take lightly when you choose to spend it with me. So I hope you'll like, subscribe, follow so that you don't miss any of our episodes in this series or the ones to come.